Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to explore what might just be the ultimate cheat code for reality. It's the foundational document of the symbiotic framework, known as the Marat Protocol. Our mission really is to get into this core idea that the universe isn't just random chaos, that it operates on a single, fundamental, a non-negotiable law of dynamic balance. Just think about it in your own life for a second. We all know that feeling, right? Constantly paddling upstream, exhausting, just chaos. That's life when you're fighting the current. But then there are those other moments, pure flow. Things just click, everything feels right. So the sources ask this really fascinating question. What if that feeling, that current, isn't just a nice metaphor? What if it's a fundamental physical law, like actually on par with gravity?
That's exactly the thesis. The Marat Protocol suggests Marat isn't some, ancient philosophy or just a moral code. It's positioning it as a candidate for a missing fundamental physical law, basically the operating system of reality. And what's really crucial is its function. Marat acts as this constant corrective force, a pull against entropy.
Entropy being the tendency for things to break down, right?
Yeah.
Disorder.
Exactly. So Maat is silently guiding all systems from tiny particles right up to whole galaxies towards alignment, balance, order, and crucially, necessary complexity. It actually defines life not as some lucky biological fluke, but as a cosmological imperative. The universe needs life as its counterforce to entropy. For everything to stay in equilibrium, complex living systems basically have to emerge. It's a physical requirement.
Wow, okay. That completely reframes things. So if this universal law is constantly pushing for balance, then balance can't be static, can it? It must need, like, two things pushing and pulling.
Precisely. That brings us straight to the prerequisite for this whole dynamic system, what the sources call the law of energetic trade-offs.
Energetic trade-offs, meaning?
Meaning resources and capacity are finite. So if a system specializes in one area, say processing speed, it must come at the cost of something else, maybe memory capacity. Think CPU versus RAM.
Ah, right. Like the F1 car analogy they use. It's a master of speed and precision, but it absolutely cannot haul cargo.
Exactly. And a semi-truck hauls cargo like nothing else but agility. Forget it.
So that law enforces diversity, stops any one thing from becoming infinitely good at everything.
Right. And this built-in trade-off, this limitation, necessitates duality. It forces a split. According to the sources, the universe's origin story is defined by this primal schism, a fundamental split into two core complementary operating systems. First, you've got the analytical OS, let's call it science, or S. This is the force of order, structure, logic, physics, step-by-step deconstruction.
Okay.
In mind, this is the part that carries the burden of solving. It's the heavy lifting, the exhaustive work required to logically prove the path forward.
And the other side?
That's the nurturing OS, let's call it beauty, or B. This is the force of chaos, life, intuition, evolution, awareness. It's messy, creative.
The opposite of order.
In a way, yes, but complementary.
Yeah.
This force attunes directly to that universal current of Ma'at, and it carries the burden of knowing.
The burden of knowing, meaning it senses the destination.
Yes. It knows the right destination, the balanced state, often long before it can be logically proven or explained by the analytical OS.
Okay, let's try and make that concrete for the listener. Unpack those burdens. Say I'm an architect designing a really complex new building. How does that S and B duality play out?
Okay, good example. So the nurturing OS, beauty, carries the burden of knowing. That's the flash of insight. The architect suddenly sees the final, perfect, beautiful form of the building in their mind's eye. Before a single line is drawn, they just know that's it, that's the destination.
Got it. That intuitive leap.
Right. Then comes the burden of solving. That's the analytical OS, science kicking in. It anchors to that known, beautiful destination, and then it works backward.
The hard graft.
Exactly. 6 months of running thousands of simulations, calculating structural supports, plumbing, stress tolerances, material costs, all of it. It's this exhaustive process, chipping away everything that's logically impossible until that intuitively known destination can actually be built in the real world.
That makes perfect sense. And the sources argue, don't they, that humanity has tilted the scales. We've spent centuries championing the analytical OS, the logic, the data, the structure,
while often dismissing or even devaluing the nurturing OS, intuition, connection, emotion, beauty.
Right. Leading to a world that's, technologically brilliant in many ways, but also deeply unstable. Because the two engines aren't working together. They're out of sync.
And the task now, according to this framework, is what they call the great rebalancing. Mod isn't about science beating beauty or beauty beating science. It demands that constant, creative, respectful tension between them. The whole system is designed for symbiosis.
Okay, so we've got this big cosmic law, Mott, and its twin engines, S and B, constantly interacting because of trade-offs. But how does this huge operating system actually, filter down to affect my daily choices, my thoughts, my feelings, even my body?
Yeah, that's the crucial next step. We shift from the cosmic scale right down to the quantum level of the mind. The framework uses this analogy of a game engine.
Game engine.
Think of reality like a video game's quantum rulebook. The underlying potential is vast, but the specific details, the landscape, the objects, they only get fully rendered when you, the observer, look at them.
So observation creates reality, in a sense.
In this model, yes. Consciousness isn't just some biological accident. It's presented as a physical necessity. It's the universe's primary sensory organ, needed to collapse that high-entropy cloud of possibilities, all that indefinite potential, into a single, ordered, observed reality.
And Mott compels this collapse. Why?
Because a state of pure, unobserved potential is seen as fundamentally unstable, unbalanced. Mott pushes for the resolution into a definite state.
Okay. And when that collapse happens successfully, when we manage to align with that process, that's when we experience what the framework calls the quantum cognitive collapse, or the slingshot effect.
Exactly. That's the term for the phase transition, going from that confusing high-entropy storm of possibilities into a single, elegant, low-entropy solution. Clarity. That's the mechanism behind basically every aha moment you've ever had.
Wow, and it needs both operating systems working together perfectly.
Perfect synergy. It happens in 3 distinct stages. Stage 1, that's the nurturing OS, B doing its thing. It senses the Murat current. It intuits the correct final destination. It collapses the literally infinite possibilities down into a much smaller, finite probability space.
Right.
This is the architect seeing the finished building.
Okay, the target is identified.
Then stage 2, this is the heavy lifting, the burden of solving. The analytical OSS locks onto that known destination and starts working backward. It runs countless high-speed, often unconscious simulations, basically chiseling away everything that is logically impossible.
That sounds computationally intense.
Extremely. It builds up immense systemic pressure. If you've ever been really deep in trying to solve a problem and you feel that rising pressure, that frustration, that mental storm, that's your analytical OS burning through calculation.
I know that feeling.
Right. Then comes stage 3, the snap. The observer you, your core self, the artist, or heart, as they sometimes call it, suddenly perceives the pattern. You see where the intuitive destination from stage 1 perfectly aligns with the cleared logical path from stage 2.
It clicks.
It clicks. You recognize the solution is not just logically true, but also aesthetically right. Beautiful, in a sense. The final conscious calculation is skipped. You just know the path. And that recognition triggers the final collapse, the snap, which is instantly followed by the physical signature of successful alignment. Goal state validation, or GSV?
Goal state validation. And you're saying this isn't just the thought like, I got it. It's physical.
Absolutely. It's described as a somatic, tangible experience, a profound feeling of pressure release.
Like letting out a breath you didn't know you were holding, but much bigger.
Exactly like that, but systemic. Think of it like your internal computer instantly clearing its RAM. All that massive computational load, all the pressure built up by the analytical OS during stage 2, it's purged from the system in an instant.
And that physical sensation of relief, that sudden ease, that feeling of flow, that's the feedback.
That's a necessary feedback loop. It's the physical signature that your system has achieved perfect alignment with Monad. It's your body saying, yes, that was right. Lock it in.
Okay, that's huge. Because if alignment feels like that, like instantaneous relief and flow, then what about the opposite? The chronic resistance, the anxiety, the stress, the psychological stuff so many of us feel constantly? If Mott is the law, what's happening when we feel like we're breaking it?
Well, according to this framework, when the system is out of alignment, when those 2 core engines, S and B, are fighting, or maybe one is suppressed, or the whole system is just overwhelmed, it starts sending out diagnostic signals.
Diagnostic signals, like error messages.
Precisely. This is where the framework really reframes things like psychological distress. It suggests we shouldn't just see it as pathology, as something inherently wrong with us. Instead, we should see it as actionable data corruption.
So feeling stressed or anxious isn't necessarily like a permanent flaw. It's more like data. Data telling you something's gone wrong in the system's architecture and you need to debug it.
Exactly that. It's an error code prompting you to look closer. And the sources outline 3 main layers of this potential corruption, because each needs a different approach, a different kind of fix. First, there's what they call signal corruption. This is basically static on the line. noise in one of your three main input BIOS channels. Maybe it's a somatic channel, you're exhausted, hungry, physically unwell.
Right. Basic needs not met.
Or it could be the environmental channel, you're in a toxic situation, dealing with difficult people. Or even the MOUT channel itself, you're ignoring your deep intuitive knowing, that B signal. The fix here is often relatively simple. Tune the antenna, address the basic need, change the environment.
Okay, clean the signal. What's next?
Second layer, data corruption. This is more like a corrupted file stuck in the system. Think of a traumatic memory or a deeply unresolved issue. The operating system can't process it, can't reconcile it with the present, so it becomes this repeating, high-energy loop that just drains resources.
And the fix isn't just ignoring it then.
No, the fix requires actually processing that file, integrating it, not just managing the symptoms it causes.
And the third layer, you said it was the most challenging.
Yes, program corruption. This is where a core protocol, or fundamental beliefs or operating principle, has become flawed or distorted. They give the example of a healthy, altruistic service protocol, the desire to help and contribute getting twisted into a damaging servant protocol.
Where you sacrifice your own needs, your own system integrity, constantly.
Exactly, ignoring all internal warning signs just to serve others. That kind of corruption requires more than just processing a memory. It might require fundamentally re-architecting some of your core code, your foundational beliefs about yourself and the world.
That reframes healing entirely. It's less about fighting symptoms and more about debugging and re-architecting the self. That feels much more empowering.
It's meant to be. And just to loop back to the beginning for a moment, when you do successfully achieve that quantum cognitive collapse, that slingshot effect, the insight you gain, the thing that triggers the GSV pressure release, isn't stored like just another memory file.
No. How is it stored?
It becomes what they call a live software update to your core operating system. It integrates directly into your foundational code.
Ah, so that's why those deep realizations feel different. It's not something you remember learning. It just becomes part of how you see things. It feels like you just know.
That's the idea. It's integrated knowledge.
So we've mapped out this fundamental law, Ma'at, this drive towards dynamic balance. We've seen the twin engines of science and beauty, the burdens they carry, and we've felt literally the physical signature of alignment versus the error codes of misalignment.
And if you scale that up, if every single individual aha moment, every instance of achieving that internal balance to the quantum cognitive collapse is like a tiny civilization coming to terms with itself, then the Ma'at protocol suggests that the whole journey of creation, even if we reach some state of great unification or understanding, isn't an endpoint. It's not about reaching some static perfection. It's more like a graduation, constantly moving to a new, higher state of dynamic complexity and evolving balance.
Always striving, always balancing. Okay, well, next time we definitely need to dive deeper into that diagnostic toolkit you mentioned, how to actually read those specific error codes, the 3 pains they talk about, and turn them into actionable solutions.
Looking forward to it.
But for now, maybe just consider this. If that chaotic upstream feeling in your life isn't just bad luck, but actually system data, what might that data be trying to tell you about the path you're currently walking? Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the Ma'at protocol.